I'd like to leave.
What? You can't be serious.
That happens to be my sister.
So?
Anything from the trolley, dears?
2 pumpkin pasties, please.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Binging with Babish, where this week, to celebrate my book being released in the UK, we're making foods from a movie as British as Harry Potter. That's right, Harry Potter. Let's start with pumpkin pasties. Now, I know that taste tests have revealed that canned pumpkin is almost indistinguishable from fresh pumpkin in the context of a pie, but come on, this is Binging with Babish. We're going to use fresh pumpkin. This particular type of pumpkin is even called sugar pie pumpkin. I mean, that's got to make for a good pie, right? We are scooping the seeds out of 2 small sugar pie pumpkins, and in the background, we are preheating our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Hang on to the seeds if you want to make yourself some pepitas, and place the pumpkin halves cut side down on a parchment-lined baking sheet and roast for about 30 to 40 minutes until a paring knife, when inserted into the pumpkin, shows little to no resistance. Sometimes you'll have to scoop the flesh out of the skin, but sometimes the skin does the job for you. Now, what I'm going to do here is accidentally make way too much pumpkin pie filling, so I'm going to puree maybe 3/4 of the roast pumpkin, to which I'm going to add a drizzle of heavy cream, a healthy grating of nutmeg, a little pinch of ground cloves, a solid teaspoon of cinnamon, another little pinch of allspice, a healthy teaspoon of vanilla paste, maybe half a cup of brown sugar, maybe a 1/4 cup of maple syrup, 1 large egg for a bit of structure, and a pinch of kosher salt for a pinch of saltiness. Puree the mixture until smooth, adding more pumpkin if necessary to adjust for viscosity. And if you're not afraid of raw eggs, give it a taste, because this stuff is really good, and you want to make sure that it's properly seasoned. Now, it's been a while since we made pie crust, so I'm going to run a quick refresher. I've got a 1/4 cup each water and vodka that I'm going to place in the freezer until almost frozen, and I'm going to measure out 11.5 ounces of all-purpose flour, about 2/3 of which I'm going to place in the bowl of a food processor, along with an ounce of sugar and a teaspoon of kosher salt. Pulse to combine before adding 2.5 sticks of semi-frozen unsalted butter. Remember, when it comes to pie crust, the colder everything is, the better. We're going to process that for about 10 seconds until the mixture becomes pebbly. Transfer to a large mixing bowl and begin adding our vodka mixture, a few tablespoons at a time, folding over with a rubber spatula. Add the remaining flour, the remaining vodka, and gently continue to fold, not mix, until a shaggy dough forms that we're going to wrap in plastic wrap and refrigerate for at least 45 minutes, if not overnight. Because we've just filled this dough with tiny individual little pockets of butter, and we don't want those to melt. After it's rested, we're going to roll it out and cut it into 4-inch rounds. Ideally, you want more like 6-inch rounds, but I've only got a 4-inch pastry cutter, so I just rolled it out a little bit more. Brush one edge with beaten egg yolk and fill with a tablespoon or 2 of pumpkin pie filling. Press the edges together on your little empanada and practice your pasty pastry skills, crimping up the edge into a decorative sort of weave. Place on a parchment-lined baking sheet and brush with egg yolk, and give them a healthy sprinkle of granulated sugar before placing in a 400 degrees Fahrenheit oven for about 20 to 30 minutes, or until browned and crisp. Allow to cool almost completely before slicing open to take a look at that flaky little cross-section. These pumpkin pasties turned out really very good, but they are the favorite of Cho Chang, not Harry Potter. For Harry Potter's favorite, we gotta go Treacle Tart. It starts with a pie dough almost identical to the one that we made earlier, but I'm going to make it by hand instead of by food processor. So add the butter to the flour and salt and squeeze between your fingers until you get that same sort of pebbly texture, albeit with bigger chunks of butter. Add the vodka as before and fold until that shaggy dough forms. We're making about a half batch here because we only need just enough pie dough to cover the bottom of a 12-inch removable bottom tart pan. So we're going to roll the dough up around our rolling pin like so, and then unfurl it on top of our tart pan. And now we want to lift the dough in and press down to get it in all the corners. Don't stretch it, that's going to make the dough pull away from the edges of the pan. Trim the excess and press into the sides of the pan, poke a bunch of times with a fork in the bottom, and gently line with aluminum foil that we're going to fill ideally with some kind of pie weight. I'm going to use cornmeal because that's all I have. And we are going to blind bake this for 10 to 15 minutes, during which time we're going to make our filling. Now, ideally you want to use Lyle's golden syrup. This is the traditional treacle by which Treacle Tart is made. If you can't get a hold of it, just use some light molasses. We're combining about 16 ounces of syrup with 2 tablespoons of butter over very low heat just until the butter melts. Turn off the heat, add 3 tablespoons of heavy cream, whisk rigorously until the mixture cools slightly, and then beat in a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs and 1 large egg. Make sure that the mixture is cooled off enough that we're not cooking the egg. We just want to incorporate it. We don't want the cooking to happen until it's in the oven. Take out our blind baked pie crust and fill with the filling, and then carefully Carefully place in a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for 45 to 50 minutes, or until a beautiful bubbling little vat of lava. Allow to cool completely before extricating from the tart pan, plating up, and quickly throwing together a loose whipped cream. I'm just eyeballing some sugar, some heavy cream, some vanilla paste, and I'm whipping it until it's not too stiff. Cutting myself a slice. Already looks fantastic. The filling is this kind of gooey, molten mess that just looks tooth-achingly delicious. But let's find out if it tastes as good as it looks, and I can tell you with complete confidence that it does. This is maybe the most delicious dessert I've ever made in my life. It's like caramel pie. As you can see, I'm having a hard time handling it. And as much as I've had my fill of sweets for today, it would not be a Harry Potter episode without butterbeer. I'm combining 1 egg white, 2 ounces of butterscotch schnapps, 1 ounce of heavy cream, a tiny dollop of vanilla paste or vanilla extract, maybe half an ounce of simple syrup, and I'm going to shake this until frothy. Now, I know that this is a drink that's served to children, but it is described in the books as being slightly alcoholic, hence the schnapps. Now, ideally we want to shake over ice, but I am fresh out of ice, so I've got my little stainless steel whiskey cube here. It should do the job. I'm going to shake until very frothy, and then fill a glass about halfway with cream soda, adding a generous pour of Okay, maybe not such a generous pour. Let's try that again. Fill a glass about halfway with cream soda and gingerly add a very conservative pour of our butterscotch cream mixture for a sweet, frothy, mustache-messying beverage. One that you don't have to pay $50 for at an amusement park, and hey, it's got booze in it.